Hi, this is Jared, and this is my biology mind map. I've broken the map up into three areas that will circle around. So we've got chromosomes up here, brain regions to the right, and then neurons. So we zoom in here. We'll start with chromosomes, the most complex thing in the world. So chromosomes are kind of like a data set of information that makes up how we grow and function. Essentially, they're like the building blocks of life. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to pretend to be a scientist. But we have these things called phenotypes, which is a word pretty much to describe certain characteristics. Everybody's got their own individual set of DNA. So I've demonstrated this here with a mum and dad. Um, they have their chromosomes. Once they have offspring, they're made up 50-50 from mum and dad, and then they might have different sort of genotypes themselves, so different characteristics from their parents. Some chromosomes have dominant and recessive properties. So if we kind of look here, a dominant gene might be the brown eyes. So if there were to be offspring, that would probably come through over a blue eye genetic code. So if we move across here to brain regions, it's so complex. There's so many things that go on in the brain. Like you can see here, we've identified through science that there are many, many parts of the brain all performing different functions. But I think one thing I might just hit on because it's sprung up in a couple of previous mind maps is the hippocampus. So just to demonstrate the hippocampus that I liken to a bit of the computer system. Computers have hard drives, they store information. So we can see here just on a little diagram that the hippocampus is this funky little looking bean thing here. Each part of the brain has a particular function. So the hippocampus is responsible for memory, both short term, here like a piece of paper, and here like a safe for long-term memory. It also helps our spatial awareness of the world around us, and it also computes or it assists in computing our emotions. So we have the brain processing all the external stimuli from the world around us, and that's used in a central nervous system. And then we also have a peripheral nervous system. So all these systems are working together constantly. So it's quite interesting to learn how these function, because then we can go on and learn things about memory and such. And then having this foundation is like really influential. We'll finish here with the map with neurons. Neurons are cells within the brain. They're quite interesting. We have 83 billion little neurons in our minds here. So we have got like different parts. We've got like the dendrites here. We've got a little body that they call the axon, and then here at the axon terminals. Now, these cells connect with one another. And then there's like a chemical or an electrical exchange called the synaptic transmission, and they're going to carry different, how should I say this? They're going to carry different packets of information and create connections. And that in turn affects our behavior and memory. So when we're learning about a synaptic transmission, there's a number of like hormones that influence different behaviors. So an example, oh my God, I'm so out of my. So the synaptic transmission is going to share and connect with other neurons to perform different tasks for us within the brain. They also introduce different hormones which perform different functions. So there is so many things going on at once, and this is happening millions, if not billions of times within the brain. So these hormones here, once they're shared through this synaptic transmission, they can influence things like sleep, our pain reception, our motor skills, our moods, our thought processes. And then the brain has a really complex task because it decides to defrag and it'll get rid of some of these connections, or it can build new ones. So the mind, it is so complex, and it's really interesting to sort of learn about a few processes. But it's blows my mind that these processes are happening all upon one another, all at the same time, millions of times a day. So we'll just don't end on that note. And this is my biology mind map. I hope you enjoyed.